I made a bucket list, Tracy made a bucket list, and mostly we tick things off together, but some are long wished for and others are spur of the moment add-ons. And one such add-on, the last minute addition, was a weekend in the Gower at the end of July last year. I'd followed Chris Lewis for 5 years on his epic walk around the UK coastline, and he, Kate, Jet and Magnus were ending the walk where they had begun it on the beach at Llangennith. And they'd invited their followers to join them for the last mile from Rossilly to the King's Head pub and toast their walk's end. So I persuaded Tracy to join me, and off we went, stopping to semi-wild camp in a wood on the way near Bristol, and finally camping in the dunes in the little tents, ready to walk the mile on the Saturday morning. It was an adventure. We had some interesting logistics involving car parking and heavy rain, but on Saturday morning the sun shone, the crowds arrived and we walked, and I got my book signed, and it was an honour to join them. So I thought I'd share the beauty of the Gower with you, and I hope you enjoy it. We're back in Mersey. Cheers to everybody. It's been a completely different experience this year because the sun's shining, but we don't have the heat that we had last year. So cheers everyone. Here comes Rosie. Hey Rosie. Hello. She's decided to tick about on the decking. We've got a bigger caravan this year and the decking's bigger. But it's still it's warm. The dogs are panting, and so I thought I'd come outside and do a bit of sewing. This incidentally is a really lovely drink. I've put elderflower press with a bit of lemon gin in it. It tastes really nice. Dangerous stuff. I'll drink it like fruit juice. So I thought today I would do a bit of, let's move that out of the way for a minute. I would do a bit of alteration work. So I bought these shorts in a charity shop and I like them. They're really nice, but they're a little bit narrow on the leg. and everything else is fine about them, but I'd rather they be a bit looser. So what I thought was, rather than taking them back, I would open up the side seam and put an inch strip in. So I've got this fabric, which I think you can see, yeah, and it's pale blue, but it's got very similar markings to the dark blue, and the flowers are similar, the very similar pattern, and I like the two blues together. So I'm going to cut an inch strip and then insert it into the side seams down here, so it just gives an inch either side, so on each leg. I don't want much, but just enough that just gives a bit, you know, it's a bit more comfortable. So I'm going to begin. Ooh, I've got automatic glasses, look, they're so loose now. I'm going to begin by using my absolutely gorgeous quick unpick. I think I've shown you this before. One of my class members, my Thursday class member, had one, and I was admiring it, and a friend of hers made it for her. And then when I went into class one day, she said, "Oh, I've got something for you," and he'd made me one, and they're lovely, and it comes apart and then it pops in like that, and it leaves it all lovely, and it's wood, beautiful. So I'm going to start by turning these inside out, and I'm going to have to be a bit careful because there's a pocket involved in this, and I want to keep the pocket where it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is unpick a little bit of the waistband, because I'm going to have to cut the elastic, and I'm just going to insert a little bit of it that won't be elasticated. So I'm going to go all the way down that seam, but I want to just make sure that the pocket, which is there, stays where it is. So the first thing I need to do is unpick a section here, because although I don't want the elastic in the bit that I'm doing, what I do need is just to loosen it off, and then I'll separate it and I'll stabilize each edge. So this is what needs to be done first. So now I do need my glasses. So I'm going to just go, I'm going to put my strip from there, so from the lining up with the pocket backwards. So I'm going to unpick from there. Rosie doesn't know what's going on. Tracy's sitting around the front. My friend's here as well. We've come together again, and she's sitting around the front having a read. And Rosie's, didn't you see her? Yeah, there she is. She's ticketing round. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. Where's my girl? There she is. Good girl. She says, "I'll come out and explore, but I'm too hot, really." You know, just taking in the view. Taking in the view. She is. So there's two lines I've had to unpick. The bottom line, so that bit there, and then I've had to do the top line as well. So I've just got a little bit more to do on there. And then I should be there. Oh, that's so nice. Right. So once I've done that, inside here, go a little bit further with that one, I think. Inside, I've now been able to find the elastic. Actually, I've just had a little thought. Can you see this has got some detail on it? This is a pillowcase. This has got some detail stitching on it. I'm going to insert that. That will be quite cool. I'm going to use that as my insert. Right, and these are Next shorts, so you know, it was quite a good bargain. They were only £1. So I'm not going to sniff at that. So what I've done is put a double stitch on there, by hand, and that's just stabilised the end of the elastic, and then I've cut through. So I'm just pinning them so I don't lose them. They are stitched, so I shouldn't, but if they're not stitched, if you were doing this and they're not double stitched around, you need to pin them so they don't ping off and disappear. I think the dogs are wondering who I'm talking to. Hello. They've both appeared again. Hang on, let me just show you. There they are. Bye. So now what I'm going to do is cut my length of infill, and I'm going to do it out of the edge of this because I quite like that. It's like pin tucks. So my glasses have gone, you're not looking through your glasses, I'll just fall onto your face for you. So yeah, they're so well trained. And I'm so forgetful. There's a place down the road from here called the Vineyard, and it is a vineyard, but they have they do cider and all sorts there, and they have a really lovely shop, a cafe. Well, they have a lovely shop, but they have a cafe there, so we can walk across the fields from here. So we actually walked down there a couple of days ago, and it's perfect because Rosie has a habit of legging it if we're in woods. I think because she goes off chasing stuff, and although she doesn't run that fast still, she has a mind of her own, and she'll come back when she's ready, which is fine when I can see her, but I'm not comfortable with having a dog that hasn't got good recall. So this was lovely because it was all the way along the edge of a field, so she could just go off. There was no likelihood of us seeing deer or squirrels, and so she could have a lovely free run. So I've cut this strip off, so obviously I'm going to lose some of it because some of it's going to go into a seam. I'm just going to strip that seam edge off, so I'm not working on loads and loads of layers, and it has got some weak points on it. So I love reusing fabrics, and honestly this is a king size quilt set and I paid a £5. There's so much fabric, and it's lovely, and I shall use it for quilting, and I shall use it in slow stitching, and it will get recycled. And if you have a look, you can go and research it for yourself if you really want to, but if you have a look at just how impactful the cloth industry is, not just the clothing but all fabric industry, have a look at how bad it is for the environment, and you'll see why recycling fabrics is so important. So there you go, there's my strip, and it's got some lovely details. See, it's got little pinstripes on it, so it's already done for me really, and I might actually get 2 of them out of that. So what I've now got to do is work out how long I need those strips. So it's got a mitered corner, so I'm just going to flatten that end off, and then because I'm going to turn it at the bottom, so I need to include a little bit extra there because that's going to become the hem, and then I need it to be enough that it'll turn over to become part of the waistband. So because I'm going to cut the waistband, I won't have anything there, so this is going to have to turn over in order to give me a waistband. So I actually need about that much, so I'm going to get 1 out of each side, so that's okay. I'm going to cut myself slightly extra. These are lovely, great big scissors, and they cut through all of the layered stuff really well. If you've got scissors that don't cut terrifically well when you've got lots of layers, try and use them so the cutting throat section is right up here. If you try and snip, all it'll do is it'll twist in the scissors. So be really bold, go right into the throat of the scissors. So I've cut my section. I want that ready because what I'm going to do now is unpick down this edge, and in doing so I've got to make sure I don't lose this pocket. So I'm going to pin the pocket in place, then I'm going to unstitch, then I'm going to insert. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit more unpicking now. This way. Rosie, this way. Time is so far out. Rosie! Rosie! Come up! See how obedient my dog is. As I was saying in the earlier video, and her recall is hideous. There's a good girl. Good girl. I love textures and the sounds. Punching the beach. She's just got a dog. So she's got another dog. She gets into herding mode. Whoops, I just found out. Her head goes down. She thinks she's got a sheep dog. Left her hand stopped. Never been a sheep dog. So I've moved round now into the sun's going round the caravan, so I've come round to the other side. It's a little bit windier and there might be people walking past, but it doesn't matter. So what I've done is I've taken apart the one side of the shorts. I've unpicked all the way down the edge, and I'm ready to put my strip of new fabric in to the old. So what I'm going to start with, I've unpicked the hem because I want the new bit to go all the way down so that when I turn it over it's part of the hem. So what I'm going to do is start off by taking the right side of this, putting it onto the right side of the shorts, and I'm matching up the bottom of the hem so that it's together. Okay, I hope you can see this. I hope it's not too sunny. And then I'm giving myself, in fact, what I'm actually also going to do is I'm bringing this in so it's not quite lining up. Can you see? It's coming in a little bit further. Ooh, Oh, you made me jump. You made me jump. You just stood up so quickly, you made me jump. I'm sorry. Did I make you jump back? As people go past the caravan and it makes her jump up. It's such a clattery sound. And it's not a sound I'm used to hearing, so never mind. She's gotten in now. So what I'm doing, I'm pinning up the existing pin lines so that I'm keeping it on the pin lines that were the stitch lines that were there already, because I'm going to try and stitch in them. If I was doing this on the machine, it would take about 10 minutes. But where's the fun in that? So can you see I've pinned just kind of over the top, so once that's stitched I can pull that forwards and it'll just be part of the waistband. So I've pinned all the way up that side. Then what I'll do is come round to this side, and then I'm going to do something slightly different because that's the other end of the waistband, but can you see there's extra here? What I'm actually going to do is taper, because I want the shorts to be slightly wider. So I'm going to pin this as I did before, match it to the bottom of the hem, and pin it in. And then instead of pinning up exactly in line, I'm going to taper it up. So can you see? So it's narrow at that end, wider at that end, and then I shall trim that down. So I'm just going to pin that up now, and then I'm going to call it a day for this afternoon. If I turn this through, you can kind of get the idea. I hold that in place. You can get the idea of that little stripe. Can you see? I think it's going to look quite cute. It looks a bit numbly at the moment because it's all pinned, but it'll give it a little bit more of a flare on the base, because it was very straight. It was almost that way, so it was just uncomfortably not nice. It just didn't feel like it was sitting right. So I'm going to pack up for now, and then I'll be back either later tonight or I'll be back tomorrow. See you later. Bye. So here we are. I haven't finished up the tops yet because I'm going to do a little bit with embroidery silk. So I thought I'd add some details to it. I'll show you those in a little while. But I have got a full insert down the side of the leg now. So you can see there. There you go. So all I've got to do really in the short term is sort out the hem, get that done. And so I'll pin that. So I've just turned it over inside. So the original hem had a little turn. So I'll turn that over, pin that in place. So there we go. There's that one. And here's the other side. So I'll pin this one in place as well. And then I'm going to give everything a good press, because amazingly, although everybody takes the mickey out of me for being excited, there's an ironing board and an iron here, and nothing makes me happier because it means I can stitch and I can patchwork and I can't do that without an iron, not really, not properly. So I don't care if they take the mick out of me. I get very overexcited if I see an iron and an ironing board. Don't care about Hoover, but I do like that. So there's my other hem stitched, pinned up. So I'll stitch them, And then what I'm then going to do is I don't want to stitch across here in black because it'll look weird. So what I'm going to do is find some embroidery silk that's the same colour as the blue thread. Then I'll replace the stitching along the bottom of the waistband, and then I'll do something across here with the dark blue. I might chain stitch across or herringbone or something, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. And then I'll replace there, and again on this side, that gap that was there, I'll do that, and the same again. And then I'll have a good working pair of shorts that they're not grabbing my legs. But anyway, there you go. A pair of shorts that originally didn't fit and now will, and be way more comfortable. And that's a £3 pair of shorts and the edge off a pillowcase. So it cost me nothing really. And it means I've got a second pair of shorts for holidays, which is great. So I hope you have gleaned something out of this. We're off to take the dogs for a walk. We're not going to the beach today because the weather's not great. And little Thor's legs are stiff because he spent a lot of time yesterday being rolled around in the waves. It wasn't very well yesterday evening, so we're a bit sad. So we're going to go and take a gentle stroll, and then we might wander into West Mersey, get a cup of tea, and have a little look around the shops. And our last day, so we're going to go home tomorrow. Anyway, lots of love to all of you. See you soon. Take care. Bye.